We are live. Uh, it's the recording already started like a couple minutes ago, but this is the Weekly Huddle where we are here with Pretty Scone and myself, Victor or Young Kid Warrior. This is where we talk about the She community, athletes, crypto, and all that in between, and all the DAOs that we are a part of. Scone just got back from feeding his lovely animal cat. Thanks for joining me again on this beautiful Monday afternoon, Scone.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah, we have a lot to catch up on this week. The Panvala official distribution, I don't know if it went out yet, but they released the numbers. And then we have a couple of attestations to make for our last oh, this is weird. Oh, that's cool. There's a couple attestations to make for some contributors of ours that did this last week, but there's some cool new UI elements in Govern they look pretty good. So luckily we don't have too many attestations. Well, maybe that's not luckily. I don't know.
I feel like things are missing for some people.
You know, there is actually a bug in Govern where you have to scroll down and load all of the contributions. It's like if you're filtering by DAO instead of by time, like if you don't scroll down and load all the contributions, they won't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these, like if you can't see my screen, but the stream can. I've already taken a look at a lot of these, and there's like issues with them, like having incorrect name or not enough information. I'm getting a little echo on your end, Scone.
Well, you said you're getting feedback?
Some echo. If you could check that out. Actually, it's good now. But yeah, so some of them are like the ones that I have already looked at, but I have to make sure I scroll down all the way in order to see all the contributions, right? Because they don't load in automatically, which is probably a bug. It's probably a bug we should report, right?
Let's see. I'll say we have to get. So there are some people who have done some things that I haven't seen recently. At least on the Govern end of things. So, like, for example, like Marcos doing his tuck jumps. Those went on Govern for, like, the attestations that I did. So, like, I think just, like, a small, like, Ordno Helias. So just like a small reminder, like Sandra has her tuck jumps for the first 2 days, but she has 4 tuck jumps up on, the challenge feed. Just like little things like that is what I meant.
That's kind of the thing about Govern, is it's up to them if they want to submit the Govern side.
Yeah.
It's not really, I think that's individual to them, and if they don't submit it, it's kind of on them. We can definitely tell them that it's an option. But also, it's up to them if they want to do it or not, right? Which is, it's definitely good. So I think it's more, what's the word?
Govern. Guys, let's see.
Like Mr.
Do they still get particle? Well, no, yeah, because Govern doesn't. We don't have Govern connected to our distribution yet, so.
No, we don't.
Things are recorded within the server, so then it's fine then, as long as they're still getting their particle from contributing.
So they're getting it from source cred still, right? That's why we didn't. Yeah. That's why we didn't like go cold turkey on source cred, because it's like we still want to reward these contributors. I just attested to all of Sandra's right now. I looked it over and look good, just to tell you. But you know, so that we couldn't just switch entirely to govern. But what we're doing is kind of offering govern as like you're kind of investing in the future of She by posting your stuff to govern. And I think that's part of the pitch is like, hey, in the future we might be using this, so if you get in on it early, you'll have a head start, pretty much.
Makes sense.
I also think last week we brought up Govern's new. They have that new feature of in the DAO settings called the verification framework.
Yeah.
I think we had said that it isn't kind of useful to us yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. Like putting a number of attesters at like 5 is not very useful. However, I do think that turning it on just to 1 is useful. Like getting it, like showing that at least one person has attested to the mint is a useful thing in my. And I argue that we should turn it on.
So I'll say I don't think 1 changes anything, because if a single, so like you'll see, so like currently right now, you know, it's me and you, and then every now and then, you know, Chio, you know, attesting to things. If one of us, like if it's coming from me or you, you know, we know the proper steps and everything that like need, or that like shows that it's attested, you know, I'll say correctly, all the data and stuff was input. And then if you attest, so I'm saying this from the guise of, I'll say, being a contributor of the DAO, and not like, I don't know if you see different things than I have, is what I'm trying to say. So like I can see the things that I've attested to, but I don't know how that reads into, I'll say, the shenanigan graph as a whole. So like right now, if only one of us attests to something and it still goes through, I don't think the verification needs to be put on, because like we're going to be attesting to these anyway. So like, you know, we literally start our days by checking these. To get the practice, you know, it would make sense. But I don't see how it would change, you know, things, because we're already like one attestment to it, I'll say, isn't really anything as part of like a verification process, because we're verifying it by attesting to it, if that makes sense.
So you kind of are saying that also you are an admin in Govern, by the way. So
Okay.
we definitely see the same stuff. So my take is actually the reason why you said not to turn it on is kind of the reason why I figured turning it on for 1 attestation is useful. However, I don't think that it is useful in terms of like filtering out bad contributions. It's only useful for saying, hey, at least one person in the DAO has attested to this contribution, right? Like it's only used, like right now there's no difference between 0 attestations and 1 attestation. It just all looks the same, right? So having the UI represent, hey, this is a contribution that has been attested, it'll help us kind of filter out like visually, and especially when they put the graphs up, just as like a true or false, right? Has this been attested to by anybody, right? So that's why like it's not necessarily giving us rich data about the quality of the contribution. It's more giving us feedback, or it's giving us a signal that someone in our DAO has seen this proposal and thinks that it's okay. At least one person, right? And it'll say who has attested, you know, and it just gives us that little bit of of like I don't think it makes for a rich verification, but it makes for a small level of verification just for us as other attesters, right? Does that translate to you?
I'll say it makes sense if there was more people. You know what I mean? Because like it's me, you, and sometimes Chio. You know, so like I could see if there were more than us three.
Why does the number of people?
It would make sense. So like I'm not saying like don't turn it on. You know, like you can turn it on if you want to. It doesn't really change anything. But so like right now I'm looking at my contributions. You know, I can see that there's 0 attestations for the meeting notes that I did on. I also don't even know if I mentioned this. But there's 0 attestations. When we look at, I'll say if there was a way that like when we looked at all the things that we needed to attest to, if they show just like how many attestations there were to it already, other than you like clicking on it and then like seeing that someone has attested to it. But I just think like with our small sample size right now, like once something is attested to, like once you click on something, so like if you're actually doing what you're supposed to, click, go into it, see if it's actually been uploaded correctly. I can see if you've attested to it, once I did that. And so then, that shows me that someone else, which would be you, approved this enough to attest it. And then so, it's kind of just the same thing to me. But
so I'm going to share my screen with you real quick.
Yeah.
Because you might not be able to see this on your end. This is what my attestation page looks like. And you can see what like a verified contribution looks like in the UI.
Yeah.
Right. So that is useful unto itself. Just saying like, okay, there's like I think the small amount of attesters makes it just the difference between not having a verification framework and just turning it on to the lowest setting is just like, hey, it doesn't mean, again, it's not rich data, but it's saying, hey, one of the 3 of us has already seen this, right? Maybe it'd be better for someone like to go look at other attestations, or it's better to like double check it. Like it just makes for a base layer of like, hey, there is some sort of like looking going on at this stuff. I think it creates no barrier to entry than what we're already doing. It just gives us this UI, this like verification UI, right? We're just basically turning on the UI for us by putting it at the lowest setting, right? I wouldn't necessarily trust it to organize the like value graph, but it is nice. I think it's quality of life improvement for no loss whatsoever. That's why I think with less attesters it makes more sense to turn on at the lowest level.
Makes sense.
I don't see how like the number of attesters matters here, because we're just keeping it at that. When we're keeping it at 1, it's just saying, hey, turn on this at the lowest level, just to say, hey, differentiate the contributions that have already been attested to and that haven't been attested to. Because right now they're all kind of the same, right? So does it seem fair why I want to turn it on? Like just like the one. Or do you still have pushback? Or did you?
I'll say yeah. I wouldn't use fair as a word because like I don't think it's fair or unfair like in this context, but like it's fine.
Well, I mean fair as in like in my reasoning, not like fair as in like is the verification framework fair?
Oh no, yeah, it's fine.
Because I think what I'm telling you is I don't understand your pushback. I don't see how having few attesters affects the use of the verification framework.
I understand. I'll say I see your frame of view. Because like when I was describing before, I was like, I might see different information than you do. And so I'll say once you explained it from this data set point of not having the attestations, there's no verification to them. I'll say my pushback was, I won't even say pushback, but just we were the verification step. Like that's how we verified that they were done. But putting them on, I can also see how that is beneficial. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, okay. So you're. Yeah. I was more asking if you're aligned with the reasoning. It sounds like you're aligning with the reasoning, because it doesn't. I think what I was trying to get to is it doesn't change anything. We're still excuse me. The three of us are still the people deciding, kind of attesting, being the main attesters, right? And our testing flow doesn't change. And I think if we were to try, let's say tomorrow SourceCred imploded and we had to move all the way to govern, we would probably do something where it's like, okay, either if me or Scone, either of us attest, then it goes at a higher value than if it was just, some new person that is in the DAO or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put it. I'm gonna set it to 1, or I think we're in agreement that it's in low. It's low. It's low impact. It doesn't fucking matter, but it does give us a little. I think it gives us a little quality of life. I think I've convinced you as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And if we want to turn it off, it doesn't have any effect turning it on. But yeah, go attest to things, guys. Don't leave it up to us. I have so many contributions I need to make for running these meetings and stuff. I haven't been doing anything.
You can also attest to each other's contributions, just like we do in the challenge feed. Okay.
All right. Let's move on. Ooh. I'm in the wrong place. Let's move on. I'm running the distribution right now. This is distribution 117 for the week of December 5th to December 11th last year. So pretty far behind, but they're running and they're going. Panvala released their amounts. We are going to receive $856 of PAN. So like another $1,000 for the last 3 months. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet for what's in the works and where we're at right now. We have the money from LP DAO that we took out, and we have other.
It's been about 3 months.
Well, every PAN goes out every quarter. So $1,000 grant for 3 months isn't like a ton, but it's still pretty sweet. It definitely is more than zero, I did want to bring up like a proposition for while we are building the surrounding stuff and we're sitting on all of this kind of dev money that we're saving up. We might want to put our treasury that is not the DAO treasury, but like our core treasury into like a perpetual position. Um, there's a framework here called Mycelium that's on Arbitrum, so the gas fees are really low. And basically, what it allows you to do is purchase leverage tokens for USDC. So you can take like a long, like I would recommend we take a long position on Ethereum since we're long in general, and just take a risk with our treasury. And if ETH goes up, we have a lot more money to work with, and if ETH goes down, we didn't have a lot of money in the first place, so it's not a huge loss. It's definitely a risk to put your money into leverage. This specific app doesn't have any liquidation timing though. I've used it before and it's pretty sweet. You can just leave stuff in there and it won't liquidate. For I think it charges higher fees is why. But that means we can just kind of set it and forget it until we need it. But it could allow us to get a lot more room from our treasury. It could allow us to get a lot more out of our treasury to do this. So what do you think about taking a more risky position with our treasury? Still betting on ETH though, not doing any meme coins.
Okay, let's see. What would the margin be? So, okay, does it work like a regular, I'll say, trade? So let's see.
Yeah.
Token to spend, we have that much available, so the margin is literally just depends on how much we put in. Is the leverage only 3 or 10?
Yeah, so the way it works is I think we have $5,000 right now, or $4,000 plus the money that you owe. So we have we have about $4,000. If we took a 3x long position, it's essentially like we're trading with $12,000, right? We're holding a $12,000 position. Yeah, that's how it works. If we take a 10x long, it's essentially like we're holding. However, what that means is that negative market moves affect us much harder as well.
Oh yeah, that's why. So
but I don't see us using these tokens in the next month. The $4,000. I think we have a lot more work to do, and at the rate we're moving at, I don't see us. I think. Well, we can talk about what we have to do later, but we've talked about the last few weeks of updating the website and updating the docs and putting out a couple other things that really need to happen before we move into main hacking phase. I think that we're going to be in the position for so long that we might as well take the risk and go long on Ethereum. But that's just my take. And it's definitely a riskier position with potential upsides or potential downsides. Right. But right now, it's not doing anything. It's just sitting there, collecting dust, right?
Yeah, it's better. Hold on. I'm pulling up my charts right now. Yep. Let me look at how my graphs have been going.
Because while you do that, if we look at it with the fact that the next 2 months we want to revamp the docs, we want to do a website, we want, I had a couple other things, man. Fix up the distributions, get govern situated right, and figure out how we want to do that. Lock in a tithing thing. We want to set up all this documentation and community. What else? I had one other thing. I can't remember, but I know I wrote it down somewhere, right? But getting all that organized is going to take a few months at our rate, Oh, getting the Merman stuff done, so that we can do Merkle drops. I think it's gonna be a few months of prep. So we might as well have them trading. Like at least like take like a long like at least take some kind of risk with our tokens in betting for Ethereum, right?
You can't set like a. Can you set stop losses?
No. I mean, you probably could if you built a bot for it, but it's not supported in the UI. But I mean,
Okay.
we could just what we'll end up doing is probably put it into an EOA, and we could set a stop loss. Like I could set a price on my phone as a stop loss, and then just go and sell it.
So let's see. So I'll just say market, just like market volume, over the past month, because we're in May now. So beginning of May, I'll say. Solid, we're sitting about where we are, about same place that we were, like April 23rd ish, literally, yeah. Like April 3rd, so the beginning of April. So confluence wise, we could definitely, I'll say, move up. Breakout wise, potentially back to at least 19. Would you want to, I'll say, just kind of watch it and like actively?
I think we're not.
I'll say it's like be on it, or just like open the long and then just like wherever it goes in like a month.
Yeah, I think we're not looking for short-term gains, and if us just being on Ethereum is betting on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So we should believe it. It's like more about, do we believe in Ethereum's long-term success, which I do. I think more than any other chain or token. So we're just kind of betting on ourselves in a way. I don't see us taking short-term gains. I see us taking minimum 2 to 3 months of just holding a position at this price and seeing where it goes from that, right? But having the ability to say, hey, it's up, let's just burn. Like, we don't want it to be, it's just us too that to be like, all right, we don't want this we need the money, right? So let's just burn our position now when it's up and take the W. Right? And we might make $500, we might make $5,000 depending. I don't think we will make 5,000, but it's like we might lose $500. We might lose 1,000 or 2,000. But that's not a ton of money to lose. But it's also because it's not a ton of money to work with. So an extra $500, $1,000 is a lot more. It allows for a lot more than like losing that much too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's see. Full position, like full amount, or save some.
I say, like, we have, if we go into the Gnosis save, this is the core Gnosis safe. That just has like some core funds that we all kind of put in together. We have about 1,000 in there, right? So I say we just put the full 5,000 in, or we have, like, the pan we got this time, the ETH from the LP DAO, and any of the other stuff that you owe us or people owe us, or the all this treasury here in the safe, because it's just been sitting there not getting used, and just put it to work. Just put it there. I think it's worth a risk, because right now, like, we have very little to get things done anyway, and if we can have more, this is a best way for us. This is the best chance for us to get a longer runway, right? With the little minimum we have. I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but it's probably our best chance to get a runway going. And honestly, it's just betting on Ethereum, which I've always done. So it aligns with my personal beliefs. You know.
I'll say one thing that I think we have to do if we do really want to maximize is I think that we will have to watch this though. I'll say I watch charts daily anyway, because I'll say just price volume. You know, we broke over 2K last month. Solid, you know, for a little bit, and then broke under, and now we've stayed under, you know, since. But then if we break back down to, I'll say lower 17s, you know, we might see us go back down to like 14.
I mean, so, it's all speculation, right? I don't know how much I like prescribe to the power of chart analysis, because at the end of the day, like, no one knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, I get people like to analyze charts and stuff, and like that does have, I guess, some play. So I hear you. Like, but also I'm like stubborn though. I think it's kind of BS. Like, chart analysis can kind of be BS, and just like, it's just people kind of wanting to find patterns in something that doesn't really have a lot of patterns and a lot of like reason, right? It's just like, oh, there's a meme coin, like it's gonna pump everything and everything's gonna fucking go up. Oh, we're talking about crypto law, everything's gonna go down. It's like, you can't really predict anything. But I do think Ethereum long term is a good bet.
Yeah.
That's what only reason. It's a very simple reason why I think this is a good idea. I think I would do this. But it's riskier. So I think my question, and I know I think you're saying you're down to take the risk.
Yeah, if we're smart about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what liquidation would look like.
There's no liquidation.
You know, for 3,000, we should have a nice window.
There's no liquidation on this website. That's their like main benefit. You can't get liquidated.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, cool crypto shit. So that's good. That's like, we can just leave it. Huh?
I said, yeah, if we can't get liquidated, then
yeah,
why not?
I think they take bigger fees out of like the winnings or whatever.
Makes sense.
But like, if I can't, it's way, you could just set it and forget it pretty much, which is pretty sweet. I think you want to do this. I mean, it's our money to choose what to do with it, like yours and mine, and like we just use it for she. Like, that was like we set it aside for she, but it's technically just the money that we control for this. So it's just up to us. Like, we can do it today, and then.
Do you need a community vote or anything?
No, it's just ours. Like, we all put money like into a pool.
No, yeah. I'll say, do you see any benefit of talking to any advisors?
I mean, so I could talk to Yaler. Yaler is actually the guy who showed me this and said this is probably a good thing to do for a treasury. The problem is a lot of DAOs take the safe route, and they're like, they worry about taking leverage positions, but we're in a weird spot where it's like, we're in the bear, and we it's not that much money we're risking. Like, some DAOs have just a lot more money.
Yeah.
The potential upside could be big just for funding a dev push. Right? A dev push will cost probably about 10 grand, not counting any like or a good dev push costs about 10 grand. Like let's say we want to do like a month sprint. It's like 10K. That's not counting any like contract audits or anything, but just a good push of dev work. So if we can get up there to 10, that would probably change a lot of the product that can get built in the time period we build it in. I'm not saying we will do that. However, this is probably the best chance we have at doing it. So
makes sense.
Cool. Let's do it. Why not? It's just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Might as well make a move.
In before ETH goes to 0 and we are all she's broke. Oops.
That would never happen. What are you talking about?
So yeah, cool. I will start moving stuff around to get that going. I don't think, Panvala hasn't sent us the pan yet, from what I can see. So, let me check. I'm pretty sure they haven't sent it yet.
We haven't even thought about what workout we're doing.
Yeah, we do got to talk about that. Yeah, okay. Well, we can talk about the workout for this next week. Last week was tuck jumps.
And they seemed like they enjoyed them.
Yeah, I should have done mine. I did like 10, 15 miles of walking, but I forgot to record it, like usual. What do we want to do this week? We want to do some arm workouts. You want to do like some leg workouts. What are we thinking here? Some abs. We could do super crunches. I always like super crunches. That's not a super crunch.
So on this ab move,
have you ever done a super crunch before?
Playing the video.
Do you see my screen or?
Yeah, so like, he was just laying on his back.
So this is kind of.
So is it just a slower crunch?
It's just you pick
like all the way up.
You pick your head up while you're crunching, pretty much. So it's like full extension out. It's like this. This is always what I saw. It's full extension out, and then you crunch up in a ball. Let me see if I can find a decent video. I've never done this one, but it's kind of like this.
I've done those. Oh, I haven't. Okay.
Yeah, see how he comes
so
up
I've only done the side to sides. I haven't done the double up finish.
Yeah, so I always did super crunches just going up into the middle like that. But we can do that as well.
It works all sides of the tummy that way.
Tum, yeah, totally. Let's see. Let's do super crunches.
Add it to the list.
Tug jump. Next up is super crunches. Boom. I had other stuff to talk about. Before I forget. What? Load on the next challenge. A couple weeks ago, I met with... this week, I met with Dow House, and we went over the Merman stuff. So we're making progress on that. They gave me some feedback on stuff that they think would be a good idea. Some ways to save gas and other things like that, and maybe a more eclectic structure for the contracts. Also, a couple weeks back, I met with Charles, which is like Mark C. Charles, I think his name is Mark C. Lewis. And he said he wanted to take on more of a project managerial role in the DAO, which is really something we need as a project DAO, as a DAO that's trying to build a product. We need a project manager. Like, I am split amongst multiple hats, and having someone who is strictly on the managerial side would help benefit me a lot and keep me aligned in work. So he sent me this is just a like a intermediate doc. It's just a draft document, but he sent me some success metrics and basically like a form. What did he call it? He started a doc. It's basically just what it like outlining She's product, like success metrics and like and outlining what we're doing, what it is like the product we're building, and kind of like laying out these things. It's not done. Like I don't know what this is about, but he just sent it to me to look at. So we're getting some PRD. That's what he called it. The product requirements. So we're getting some project managerial stuff a lot like started with Mark, which could help us organize as we start ramping up the docs, the wiki, and the community side of things, getting ready for product release.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's not just us. We still have people interested in joining the She community, and we still have people in the challenge feed doing challenges, and make sure you go vote on next week's challenge. But yeah, it's still going. We aren't done yet. Let's see. I also wanted to talk about some new Discord channels. What do you feel? How do you feel about having like lounges for particle owners? So
what do you mean?
We could have, so for example, we could have a channel that's where if you have 500 particle, you can go in and talk to other people with 500 particle. You got the 1,000 particle lounge, the 10,000 particle lounge, and like the 100,000 particle lounge, which is like 2 people. You know, how do you feel about having some? It's basically just more general channels, but specifically for those who have a certain amount of particle. And then we can cut off a lot of these extra ones. Like game night can actually probably just already go to the archive.
I'll say honestly, I don't know. If our community was more active, I could see the benefit of it. But I'll say right now with our current user base, I don't think it would change anything.
Yeah, I don't think but it is interesting. It might just be fun. Like we can just knowing that you're talking to other people that are holding particle is a little nice.
Yeah.
You could put some early announcements. It's more just for fun. It's like a low effort. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna change much. That's That's okay. That's fair.
Oh yeah, so like I can see it, being the same in the long run. I'll say maybe if you just separated it from a particle to a non-particle, at base, and then like go from there.
I think 500 particles is pretty low. But we can do non-particle. We can do like owning one as well. Particle lounge, 500 particle lounge, 1,000 particle lounge. Who knows what will happen in there? You never know when you're aligned with the same people. You could get some pretty interesting conversations. You could have like little votes. I don't know. Just a thought. Low effort, but gives a use case for particle. For very low effort. Yeah.
Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, I think that's all I had to talk about.
Dedicated channels to give people a place. So I don't. So the only. I don't know. I'll say not my only pushback to that, but like, so what happens if I, say I have 1,000 particle, we have 1,000 particle, room. Say I sell, my particle like 2 days before distribution, and I know that, in 2 days it will bump me back up to, that tier. Is it being, I'll say, read every day and is like updated retroactively? So like if I don't have, the amount of particle in my wallet to be in that tier, I'm removed, and then, once I have it, it's there. Is it like a weekly thing, like after distribution, then, particle would be calculated, or then it would be calculated for like what tier you're in.
Yeah, so I think Collabland does it retroactively, like you're saying. Like they check it consistently, like the Collabland API. So they'll take the roll off if like you sell. I don't know the exact like if it's every day they do it or every hour or whatever, but I do know that they do watch the numbers. So there is an element of what you're talking about.
Heard. But yeah, I was like that. There's like little things like that. I don't know. Like if it's like every day kind of a retroactive thing. I don't know. I can see it working, but then I just see not even the potential, just like backlash that some people have, but just like the backlash that some people have. Like, oh, I was supposed to be in this group, blah blah blah. Or like I missed X, Y, and Z because I wasn't here and I was supposed to be, blah blah blah. And so yeah. So I'm just like thinking about like long term down the line, a lot of volume, things getting lost, people getting upset type stuff.
Yeah. I think like gating community has its benefits because it encourages people to maintain a certain amount of particle. But then there is the issue of you're cutting off some community members that may not have like monetarily the means to maintain that level of particle. It's kind of nice because it is a filtering mechanism for speaking to like-minded people that like care about the project. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal to have it. So we could try it out for a bit if we want to take it off. That's fine. I think doing stuff right now is better than not doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's worth just trying. I think. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not really like jazzed about it.
Or K.
No, I'm not really like. It's not something that I'm really like counting on being important to our Discord. But it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think that's all we had to talk about. We did the. Well, every time I leave, I'm always like, oh, I forgot to talk about this. But mostly just talks about Panvala and distribution. It'd be cool if we could get in on some of these Layer 2 retroactive rewards. That would mean that we'd have to go build stuff on those Layer 2s, like Optimism or Arbitrum.
Or ZK Sync.
Oh, I didn't see.
ZK Sync?
It's called ZK Sync Era now, and we could still build on it, and they'll probably launch a token. It's one of those that's like kind of confirmed that they're going to launch a token. It wouldn't be bad, but we got to build. You know, I think we got to build our community first before we start just sending money to build apps on chains that aren't the chain that we're on. Just for the hope of an airdrop. I didn't.
Okay.
Sorry, Sandra. I didn't see your chat message. Maybe we can do it next week.
No. Let's community one.
Well, it's too late. I already put the vote out. The vote.
Well, delete the poll and make it again.
People already voted. They have to re-vote. That's not right.
But there was 3 votes?
Yeah, but they have to come back and vote again.
Bro, only me and you voted.
Well,
that's literally it.
Okay, no. I haven't
Me,
voted.
you, and Sandra.
Okay, do you want to do? Do you think you want to? What's the point? I mean, is it that big? Okay, is it that big of a deal to take it down?
It's allowing our community to contribute to the things that they're actively doing, and I'll say especially for it being Sandra, who's our #1 contributor. I think doing the challenge that she suggests would be very good.
I mean, I think it's if I had seen it, but I also don't see like how it's important. I'll change it. I'll change it. But I don't.
All it is literally adding one more thing for people to vote on. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm more. It's one more thing that I have to do, right? That's the.
I'm sorry that copy and pasting is so hard.
I'm not. It is. It's very hard. Thank you for apologizing. What is this, like a side lunge? We'll call it yoga lunge. Yoga side lunge. So side lunge. Something like that. Also, you could have done this. You can delete shit. Oops.
Walk into my house, I can do this. Oh my god.
We can hear you just fucking going nuts. Where's the
I have the hiccups, like, I don't know what's, like, having trouble breathing.
Is there another sound carrot? I'll tell her I updated it. All right. Are we all happy? I get what you're saying.
Beautiful.
The people voting. There you go. I'm still voting on fee raises. Alrighty. With that, I'll get to moving the stuff around to leverage our treasury or our like core treasury, and yeah, I'm gonna stop this recording.